Hi there. I am Ron Collins, and I am a writer, and welcome to this special Ron Reads video that I'm doing in support of the Kickstarter that I'm running for my special 10th anniversary edition of the Saga of the God-Touched Mage, which is my best-selling fantasy series that was launched, oddly, 10 years ago. My backers have been fervent enough now that they've hit a milestone for Ron Reads. This means this is a opportunity then for everyone to get a free copy of my novelette that appeared in Analog for crying out loud, called Kagari. And it is a special story for me because it is, as you're going to hear a little bit, it is chock full of fantasy tropes and fantasy ideas packaged up in a science fictional world. I admit I was quite thrilled to put a story like that inside Analog magazine, which is, if you're aware, the home of some of the hardest of all hard science fiction. They call the readers of Analog rivet heads for for a reason. But I'm going to read a little piece of this. I should say that the Kickstarter project is still live. Ideally, I'll be launching this video of just a little bit in just a bit later today, which means there will still be 2 days left in the Kickstarter project if you watch this right away. So still time to get in, and if you back the project, you will get a copy of Kagari also. I am going to read the first opening section of the story, I think I call this one, You've Got Fantasy in My Science Fiction Kickstarter. I had one, You've Got Science Fiction in My Fantasy story that is First Rays of New Sun that everyone will be getting. And then there's this one that is Kagari, and you can see it is in this issue of Analog, which was the January-February issue of Analog last year. I was very excited that it was the lead story and had this really fantastic illustration on it by Tomislav Tikulin. My Midwestern U.S. tongue is not so good at pronouncing those, different names from different places. So that is on me. Anyway, I will go ahead and read the very first, actually 2 sections really, because the first one is a very short little subsection, and we'll see how you like it. A fiery bolt streaked across the nighttime sky. Orange fire grew over the western horizon. Some of the common bred claimed it was an omen from sky gods. Others held steadfast to the thought that it was a portent of war, a claim considerably more difficult to deny in these times of turmoil. To avoid panic, Father commissioned the scouting expedition that found the strange wreckage of twisted metal amid the charred woods and creatures scattered about, their bodies bloodied and broken. Only one remained alive. The thin feathers above my father's brow arched with anticipation. "Happy birthday, Rythane," he said, gesturing grandly for the sake of all Aroth. "Today you become Pruax." His words weighed like water in my wings. His golden teeth, honed for the hunt, gleamed sharp in the brilliant light of Arathal's Hall, the ceremonial chamber where 3 centuries prior the Great One himself was crowned. Father's subjects filled the sitting area, perched in masses along the walls. Whereas prior to the proceeding they had preened and squawked among themselves, now the trilling of their response to Father's presentation echoed under the domed ceiling despite the expanse of wide gaps to open air at each end. Their bodies warmed the morning chill. When the echoes died, they gazed upon me with a crushing mixture of curiosity, devotion, expectation, and judgment. Perched beside him, I placed my arm on the rest of my father's throne, which was carved of pure crystal and mounted on a spire of granite that rose naturally from the floor. Cloud-fine silk trimmed my provincial blue robe. My wings, folded down my back and sides, curled over my knees in the form appropriate for royalty. A diadem inlaid with aquamarine encircled my head. Mother sat forward in the balcony. She performed the role of Kala in traditional style, keeping her everyday profile low but showing proper support for the heir thane. The age of Pruax is 20 cycles. It is when a young male in the royal line takes his rightful place at the hand of his father. Although members of Common Aroth had followed my life, this was my first public role before them, my first brush with ceremonial function. As fitting, the Hythian choir, resplendent in swaths of crimson, were positioned to my left. An orator read from the speaking perch, telling the events of my life. I found it embarrassing to hear them blown beyond proportion. But the script called for a hero's tale, and they had only me to work with. I am not my father. I would be better placed as a common bred, a follower of natural law rather than its interpreter. Father has explained that this feeling was to be expected, that he had felt similarly in his flights as Pruax, and that his father had also before him felt so diminished. I wish I could believe this. I scanned the crowd, hoping to see Sari among them, but unable to discern her. And now, my son, Father said in his booming voice, my Pruax, I present you a token of my pride and love. He took to the air with stately grace, his ceremonial koska swirling about him like a swath of high sky. Reed players blew their instruments, and a choir of voices rose in a single piercing note. Activity erupted from the entryway, and the crowd's voice rose in a tumultuous rumble. 6 bearers flew forward, laboring under the weight of a waist-high box, and draped fully in golden cloth that hung in the open air like moss from summer trees. They carried it on 3 sturdy crossbeams that had been threaded through open boxes at the top of the box. Arriving, the gift bearers placed the box carefully, if not with an awkward lurch at the end, on the open dais in the center of the hall. I stood upright on my perch, letting my feet clench and relax again, feeling talons extend and retract as they removed the crossbeams and left the box. The motion made me wish I were soaring, made me wish I were on the upper currents alone, or no, not alone. My gaze scanned for Siri once again, and once again came up empty. Alone then, and with the levers having been removed, I stretched my wings and glided in a rounded path to stand before my father's present. The cloth that covered the crate was thin fiber with gold thread. I slipped it off to reveal a cage. The audience gasped. A small, featherless creature huddled in one corner, its legs curled against its chest. It had hair like streak lightning, barren skin of smooth bearing, and wore clothes the color of deep ocean. I recognized it at once, the creature from the fire. My father's voice echoed in the chamber. To you, my son, I present this creature. It is one of a kind, as are you. The audience applauded. I bent to examine my gift. It was proportioned similarly to an Eroth, but half my height and without wings. It appeared to be male, and like myself, had arms and legs. Its eyes were round and blue, its nose blunt. Its feet were flat rather than curled and useful. I looked at my father, then scanned the audience as they still applauded, seeing then the true purpose of the gift. By presenting the creature in this fashion, Father had reduced its status from that of a wild avatar of the sky gods to one of a simple pet the Pruax was expected to keep. In one stroke, he had quelled the fear that had spread like gale-blown fire through the ranks of the common bred. The creature stood, filling the box's height. Its talonless hands gripped the bars. Its eyes were deep with anger, and it trembled in terror as it called out in a ragged voice. Even though its language was arcane, these were expressions I understood. It was in a place where it didn't belong, and in a situation that it didn't understand. I, however, did understand. Thank you, Father. I will keep it sound. I will protect it, shelter it from torrents when the storms come, and see that it enjoys open skies. The audience smiled. My father nodded. And that is the opening section to Kagari, which is my fantasy troped hard science fiction story. Obviously a bit of an accident at the beginning, and then our two compatriots come together with all sorts of complexities, which is fun. This is a novelette. It's a little longer than a classic short story. I hope you will completely enjoy it. If you would like to receive this as a complimentary stretch goal reward, like I said, you can still hit the project. I'll put a link on it, link down here somewhere. We're, like I've said before, we're all mature internet people. We know how to figure these things out. So I'll make sure that you can find it if you would like it. Anyway, thank you so much for backing. For all of my backers, thank you. This has been a fantastic project. I'm having a great deal of fun letting it run. And so with that, I will call this the end of this particular video. We have a couple more stretch goals I expect, knock on wood. We'll have some more of these coming up. So thank you very much. Have a fantastic day.